What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to look at something very different. We're going to look at the Star Wars Black Series, Djarin, the Mandalorian, and the Child. I do have the Child inside the pod here. We're going to take a look at this figure. I got this. This is a Target exclusive, and I just wanted to take a look at it. I really love the show. Here's the image on the side of the box. Just a cool image, but I kind of want to check this out because I love the show. I don't really collect Star Wars, but I decided, let me take a look at this. A really nice looking figure. Let me show first him, and then we'll go show you Grogu, who is inside here. If you haven't watched the show, they did give up his name. His name is Grogu. He's not Baby Yoda, so we're going to call him Grogu from the rest of the review. But here he is. Got some pretty nice detail all throughout. You got this belt here. You got some ammo there. His gun does fit into the holster here. You can take that out. It was bent. Actually, it's still a little bit bent, but it was bent in the package, just on the base of, on the way they packaged it. But you can just straighten that out with a hairdryer, and then you can stick that in there and tab that in, and that kind of holds it in place. Got some detail on the belt. You know, his bombs there, all of his shielding on pretty much all the way around. They didn't skimp on the detail. It's pretty much all the way through. He does have this pliable cape. It's more like a rubbery material, and you do have the shielding back here, which allows you to attach all different accessories onto his back here. But it does look good from all angles. You do have some nice detail on the boots. You got this detail there with some battle damage. Overall, really nicely done. Here's the arms. You got that paint detail there. You got his rocket launcher thing on his arm. This side, you got the armor. And then he's got his gloves. They're painted yellow on the fingertips and then this black on the rest. Overall, really nice looking. He does have his symbol right here on his shoulder. This particular figure, the head, the helmet does come off. So let's take his helmet off. It is a tight fit. And there's the head sculpt. If you don't know what he looks like, he's revealed his face on the show. And so there's this head sculpt. Let's get in a little bit closer so you can take a look at that face sculpt. Pretty close. I mean, it does look a lot like the actual show. Hair detail looks pretty good. He's got that little mustache detail, blue eyes. Overall, really nicely done. I like the option of being able to display him, you know, as the real character, you know, the real face, or you can put the helmet on. It is a snug fit, but overall, that does look really good. Let's go over the articulation really quick. The head is on a ball peg. Actually, let's take this off so you can see. This head is on a ball peg, and then up here it's also on a ball peg, so you can move this on the neck on its own also, and then you can move it on the lower neck as well. So you can get into really high and low positions because of that. You can take off this cape if you want to, and there he is without the cape. That's what it looks like. Obviously, prefer the cape. If you're going to use the backpack, then you probably want to take out the cape. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Continuing down, you have the arms on a disc joint there. So it goes up to there. The shoulder armor does move out of the way and goes above his shoulder here. It also rotates all the way around. And there's not really, there's a little bit, oh, there is a butterfly joint. Sorry. So there's another joint in there that gives you that movement this way, back and forth. You do get the hidden elbow joint there. So, oops, we're backwards. You have, by the way, you have rotation at the bicep. You get a single jointed elbow. It is a little bit limited. It only goes up to there. I think it's just because of the way it's sculpted there. It's limited. You do have rotation at the wrist and up and down movement at the wrist. So the dice throw as well as the rotation all the way around. Moving downwards, you have a rotation at the upper, and so that's on a ball joint up here. So that waist can move all the way around. And then you have a lower ball joint. So you can get him kind of curled up. Not extreme, but he gets plenty of movement. You can get him to pretty much any pose you need to. This shoulder strap you do kind of have to move that on your own. I talked about the gun already. I'll just take this out for now. The legs, they do get hindered a little bit by this side piece, but they go up to there. Not a lot of back. It is pretty limited because of the sculpting there. Out to the side. Rotation at the thigh, mid-thigh. You do get the double jointed knee. So it looks good. You get the, let's see, ankle tilt this way and ankle pivot up and down all the way there. It does break the sculpt a little bit because the back of the shoe comes off, but that looks pretty good. No boot rotation or anything like that. But overall, pretty nice. Not the most articulated figure from Hasbro, but pretty good for this character. Let's put his helmet back on. He does come with a whole bunch of accessories. I am saving Grogu for the end. I'll get into him a little bit later, but the gun can go in the hand. You just basically peg that in, and then you can get the trigger into his pointer finger here. There you go. There's him holding the gun. Good looking gun. I like that you can get it on the trigger finger. Overall, pretty nice. He also comes with his rifle. I'm a little confused with the rifle because he clearly cannot hold this in his right hand. There is no trigger there. So what you can do with it, one thing you can do with it is you can mount it on his back right here. So you just move this strap into place, and then there's a tab on the side of the gun, and you just stick that in there. And then the molding of the cape does kind of fit. And there he is holding the rifle on his back. Sorry if I don't get any of these names correct. I'm not super knowledgeable on the names, but you can mount that rifle on his back. That does look good. You can also, let's take that off. You can also take the jetpack, and that can tab in here. And there's that. Now you can put the cape on top, or you can just completely take the cape off. Probably look better with the cape off. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's probably going to be better. And then you're probably going to want a flight stand. There he is on a flight stand. This is just the Bandai Stage Act, but looks pretty good. You can probably do a lot better than I just did here. Again, I'm not great at posing, but he does look good with that jetpack. I do find it's interesting they didn't make a way for you to peg this in once you have that jetpack on. And if he's holding his handgun, there's really nowhere to put the rifle. The last thing you can do is put the rifle in the hand, which we haven't done yet. So go ahead and put the gun away. And there he is holding his rifle with both hands. It looks pretty good. It's kind of tricky to get it perfectly in there. But he can hold it. He can wield it with both hands. It does look good. Let's just set him back here. There is one other accessory you do get for him. And it's this, his little tracker that he used to find Grogu. You can just stick that in his hand. It is a little bit on the loose side, but you can get this in here. And then he can use that to find Grogu. So now let's take a look at this pod. So this is the first time we've gotten the pod in a 2-pack like this. So here's what's inside. I do have Grogu in here. Unfortunately, Grogu is molded with his arm posed upwards. Very unfortunate. I really wish you could move this arm down. You can rotate his head, and you can rotate these hands. At least I hope you can, because it looks like, yeah, it looks like you can. But that's it. And so his arms are stuck, his feet don't move. It's just molded into the bottom there, green feet. You know, very, very limited. The head sculpt does have some paint on it, and it does look nice. There's the paint. That looks fine, and so does the robe. I don't mind that. It's just, it feels very limited. You know, if you're going to include this figure, you might as well do it right. Here's the pod. The pod is painted inside here. Let's see if I can get in there. So you got some detail in there, some wiring. That's nice. And it looks like he's got, you know, some padding there. This does cover like that. And it's got some nice paint detail on there. It doesn't, if you want it in an open mode, I haven't found a way to tab this in. You can just kind of rest this there. So it's just resting on the top, but it doesn't, you know, it falls off. So it's not really a good way to show it like, okay, it opened up. In the show, it didn't have this, you know, above. It kind of like disappeared inside. So I guess you would just take this off if you didn't want it. He does fit in there, but the arm does get in the way. And he looks kind of stupid because he's got his arm sticking up. So you're maybe better off posing him like this, standing up in his little pod. I think that's probably the best look. That's probably the way most people will have him. If the stand just plugs right in, it's this translucent plastic. First, I was a little worried about the resiliency of this, but it is nice and resilient. It does go in there. It's a little bit flexible, so you're not going to break it. And it looks good. It looks nice. It does look like the pod's floating because of that. But there's one other accessory you do get, and that's this. It's the money from the show. They do give you these little points. There is a little bit of detail on it. It's very, very small. Very hard to see. But there's the detail. It's absolutely tiny. I didn't even take it off this tape because I was afraid it would get lost. So I'm putting it right back on this tape. This is something that, you know, it just easily lost, but this is their currency. But if you really are looking to have that pod, then I guess I would recommend this because this is the only way to get this pod. If you want the Mandalorian figure with the unmasked or unhelmeted head, then I would recommend this. But otherwise, other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. This is the same. So you got to decide, you know, what do you want in your Star Wars collection. So that's really it for today. Thanks for joining me for my first and probably only Star Wars figure review. I'm not really a Star Wars collector. I just really like The Mandalorian. Although after looking at this, I'm not even sure if I'll hold on to this. It's fine. It just doesn't feel premium. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.